Waves of Feminism by Laura Alejandra Flores.
Feminism in general means the belief in the social, economical, and political equality of the sexes. Feminists share a common goal in support of equality for men and women. Although all feminists strive for gender equality, there are various ways to approach this theory. I suggest thinking of feminism as a set of theories, methodologies, and political practices that seek to describe a creative power relation historically ascribed to the sexes, in order to understand and accommodate women's experience or that which has been constructed as feminine, stressing the systematic oppression of women and other subaltern identities, in my view, has characterized of feminism, and feminism has its documented origins in the West, in a long period between the era and the Industrial Revolution. The history of modern feminism can be divided into four parts, which are termed waves. Each wave marks a specific cultural period in which specific feminist issues are brought to light. Today, I will look into the waves of feminism throughout history until the present.
The first wave of feminism, with A of human.
Between the late 17th and mid 19th centuries, the first wave of feminism is believed to have begun around 1848. The first wave feminism sought to reclaim the nature of woman, to expose the hierarchy of the sexes, and thus to overcome the legal obstacles to equality, women's suffrage, property rights, etc. This first wave was often linked to the first formal women's rights convention held in Seneca Falls, New York. Stanton, that is the pioneer of the Women's Rights Convention in July in 84, launching a series of events that give all women the right to vote, declared that all men and women were created equal, and therefore advocated for women's education, property rights, and organizational leadership. Many of activists believe that their goals will be difficult to achieve without women's right to vote. Thus, for the next 70 years, this was the main goal. It is believed that the first wave was influenced by the collective activism of women in other reform movements, and drew tactical ideas from women involved in the French Revolution and the abolitionist movement. We were told how it was necessary to make ourselves human, in other words, to explain to the world that we were the same as the man, the one who imposed to the parameters of human. In this context, also known as modern feminism, we can locate it in 1791, the first feminist act enunciated the absence of women in the fundamental rights of men by declaring the rights of women and citizenship. First as woman, daughter, and sister, then as governess and teacher, then as a theologist and philosopher, and finally as a mother. In Vindication, the philosopher set out to analyze and criticize the main materials on the subject, focusing her attention above all on documents written by spirits who share with her the principles and ideals of aiming truth. However distant it may seem, the first wave is very important for understanding the situation of women today. In the 19th century, international feminism emerged for the first time in response to the problems that were being generated by the Industrial Revolution and the capitalism. It is divided into four trends of throughout section. The suffragette movement, which began the demand for women's right to vote. For example, in the United States, one of the texts of suffrage was approved in 1848, while in Europe it was not until 1988 that women were allowed to vote, and in Mexico in 53. Socially feminism, which proposed a return to small communities to develop equality for both socially and in the term of sex. One of the most notable militant feminism was suffragette Emily Davidson, who was sent to prison several times for her activism. In 1930, she was tragically killed when she threw herself onto the racetrack at Epsom Derby, causing her to be toppled by the horse. From then on, the word militant became a symbol of suffragette action in the media. In 1917, Margaret Sanger opened the first birth control clinic in the United States, defying the New York state law prohibiting the distribution of contraceptives. This wave signifies that achievement of the position that we women enjoy all today. It was a long, intimate, and enduring historical tie to which we owe practically even we are today.
Second wave of feminism, equality before the law, equality based on natural differences.
Is proposed between 15 and 18, one that seeks to unveil unofficial equality to appeal to women's sexuality by way of appropriation of the body, which involves debates about the role of women in the family and at work. Three trends of true action emerge from this wave. Liberal feminism itself defines women's situation as one of inequality and oppression and call for reform of the system to achieve equality. Betty Friedan, the leading exponent of liberal feminism, helped found the National Organization for Women in 1966. Her text, The Mistake of Femininity, is a must read for those who delve into the nameless discomforts. Radical feminism seeks to fight property by destabilizing the sexual division of labor. One of the most significant contributions of these tendencies is the organization of self-conscienceless groups that sought to break women into existence as a political category and subject of rights, and not as a sense. Unlike liberal feminism, an exponent of radical feminism is precisely Kate Millett, to whom we owe of quoted first, the person is political. Feminism of difference, described as political correct, it seeks to rescue and value what is considered feminine so that, in effect, being a woman is beautiful. The currents come in this feminism equate women's liberation with social development and assume that women are different from men, but before the law they should be equal. It is assumed that equality can be the solution to the problem of inequality. Many of the second wave feminists were radical and critical in their approach. They were impatient for social and political change and introduced international issues into their politics. Many activists agreed with socialist ideas, while others were active in peace movements, revolutionary workers' rights, and anti-racist struggles. During the second wave, the work of black feminist groups highlighted the different experiences and priorities of black feminists. Writers such as Bell Hooks, Angela Davis, and Audre Lorde paved the way for a greater application of the unequal power dynamics woven into early second wave feminism. This second wave saw the enactment of the Equal Pay Act of 1963, which prohibited companies from paying different wages to the men and women doing the same work. It was also the first federal law to address sex discrimination. In 1974, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act went into effect in the United States, prohibiting discrimination in access to credit on the basis of sex or marital status.
Third wave of feminism, after all, and in the midst of globalization.
It is believed that the third wave spanned from the late 1980s to the 1990s. Many third wave feminists simply tried to get rid of the perceived rigid ideology of second wave feminism. Aspects such as race, class, sexuality, gender, age, nationality, among others, are fundamental to understanding the situation and condition of that which we have constructed as women. The third wave seeks to unveil different mechanisms of oppression that make equality impossible. This is where what we know as contemporary gender theories unfold. Third wave feminists are believed to be less rigid and fundamental compared to second wave feminists, who are suggested to be sexually fundamental, antisexual, and considered having too much fun and threat to the revolution. Feminism is thought to be shaped by postmodern theory. Feminists of the time sought to the question, reclaim, and redefine ideas of the self, gender fluidity, sexually identified, and what it means to be a woman. Kimberly Shenzhou coined the term intersectionally to describe how each person has their own experience of discrimination and oppression. For example, a black woman may be oppressed because she is a woman, but also because she is black.
Challenges for the fourth wave in conclusion.
Between 27 and 2012 and continues to the present day, Prudence Chamberlain defines the fourth wave by its focus on justice for women, particularly those who have experienced sexual violence. The current wave combines aspects of the previous waves, often with a greater focus on internationally and sub-narratives such as transgender activism. The internet has become a platform where feminists from all over the world come together to denounce culture where sexism and misogyny can be changed and exposed. This maintains the influence of the third wave, focusing on the micropolitics which change sexism in advertising, film, literature, and the media, among others. Following Donald Trump's inauguration as President of the United States in 2017, a women's march was held that garnered international attention as possibly the largest and most peaceful single day protecting us story. In the same year, the Me Too movement took to social media in more than 85 countries, where people shared their experience of sexual harassment and abuse to demonstrate the sheer number of cases of sexual violence and build solidarity among victims. This allowed people to see that sexual violence is not a personal problem but a structural issue. It encouraged women to be politically active and passionate about the issues of the previous wave, such as the wage gap and engaging sexual violence. Their main goals are to expose social injustice and those responsible for them, as well as to educate others on feminist issues and to be included of all groups of women.
And that's all. Thank you for your attention.